Here's my solution for cloud computing assignment 2. So 2 VPCs for the West region, production and test, 6 subnets each. So there'd be two web tier private servers, 2 for app and 2 for databases, each for each VPC. So security group details. We have ELB load balancer, elastic load balancer. The security group name be web ELBSG. We're going to allow it through rule 443. That's just the port it's going to be allowed through. That should be. So this is the second one. Is the web tier security group. It's going to be through port 8080. It's the same with the app tier, but through the same port. Source from the app tier come from the web tier from the EL balancer, and the database here from the app tier, which would be through port 3306. Other security options I have is the network ACL, which is just the access control list. It's access a firewall between these subnets. Route tables, which just is to decide where each all the traffic goes to the right location. So the original route table would just first one will just be to the default location. So AWS has a bunch of security features such as guard duty and single sign-on. There's also just authentication apps for logins and things like that. And host-based firewalls, it's just extra functionality for threat protection and such. So encryption options. At the rest, you have disk encryption, file encryption, just at your computer for hiding directories and the file information. There's server side, where the bucket will be to handle all the server side encryption. This is a key management system. Will also assist with both of them. So it's also in transit. There's transport layer security. There's also having SSL certificates. There's also TSLS certificates. There's transport layer certificates or so the instance details. So because the document specifies that the web tier requires 4 gigabytes. Since here we have I'm going to use Ubuntu for both web and app, but the type has to be large for webs, 8 gigabytes, because sometimes it will need excess availability. So in case the user base increases, in that case they will need to use extra. So we have it as T2.large for 8 gigabytes. The app will need 32 gigabytes, so we're going to do T2.2x large. The database needed 41 gigabytes, I believe. 48. So just going over with 61 on the DB or 3.2x large type for the database. So here's my answer for the OPO options. The document storage, Glacier and S3, which I already mentioned S3 before. Glacier for really long-term backup, and it's pretty low cost. I think it's 0.04 cent at the moment per month. Architecture must be the web tier requirements. Just basically, the web tier is the utilization goes over. It needs to increase, so it'll run more instances or larger size of these instances. If it gets over 750 megabytes per second, it's going to create new web servers for us. The CloudWatch will alert the administrators if errors are going on, if it needs attention. Only if it goes over 400 errors. So the app tier requirements are pretty similar. But instead of megabytes per second, we're going with this CPU usage. So if it goes over if it reaches 80% and it stays over that for 5 minutes, it'll increase the size of the instances and add more. They're completely terminated after the double 30% to save money though. Database requirements. So there is a second database availability, which will replicate from the primary database. So this will just give it more like availability to users. So there's more answers to the extra things. CloudFront, it's one of the extra things. Multiple security options. Cost considerations. I already mentioned that the shutdown the servers for the snaps, which I may have skipped over. Any more than 4 hours would probably be too expensive. So if just the goal is 4 hours, it should be stuck at that. And you can also do snaps for individual high priority applications, but that might be a bit expensive. And here's the diagram I created. So oops. So you can see the CloudWatch here with the email notification, the Amazon Glacier and the snapshot for this long-term storage. The CloudFront is the extra application added. So there's the VPC, and then there's the 2 zones. So it's US West and the US West. So the firewall, which is extra security to access the first public subnet. And then there's the 3 tiers, the web tier, the app tier, and the database tier, which also has the secondary database for multi-access and the replicas of this. So that's the solution to the assignment.